Blake Lively is freaking out. No, seriously, after months of delaying, dodging, and dousing the press in glitter, the fantasy has shattered. On June 18th, Judge Louis J. Lyman pulled the velvet curtain and exposed the chaos she's been hiding. Her secret move to block 133 witnesses, including Bradley Cooper, TMZ reporters, and even her husband Ryan Reynolds' director, from testifying. Then came the hammer. The judge ordered Blake to hand over key communications tied to what's now being called her smear campaign. Suddenly, June 23rd, the day of her deposition, isn't just a date, it's doomsday. That word deposition? It's now written in red Sharpie across every whiteboard in her legal team's office, triple circled and underlined like it's Voldemort's birthday. And what started as a glamorous tiff is now a public implosion. Blake's in the middle of a defamation lawsuit filed by director Justin Baldoni. He's not backing down. After getting a partial dismissal, he returned swinging with sharper motions, better evidence, and the full force of receipts. Meanwhile, Blake's legal team has been trying to control the narrative with the grace of someone trying to plug a leaking dam using a Chanel clutch. And surprise, it's not working. Every desperate attempt to micromanage the case has backfired. Every carefully worded filing has detonated. Her strategy? Less legal defense, more Olympic-level mental gymnastics. The moment she dragged her bestie Taylor Swift into the mix, it all started to unravel like a cheap red carpet gown in a thunderstorm. Yes, Taylor Swift. Blake literally named her in an official court filing, said she had relevant insight into everything: the filming atmosphere, the creative process, even the supposed smear campaign that Blake insists destroyed her mental peace. And then Blake had the audacity to beg the court for a protective order to keep those very texts with Taylor hidden. Girl, you can't throw Taylor's name into the legal ring and then pretend those texts are just Sunday brunch emojis, especially not when you've paraded your friendship like a security blanket at every promo event for It Ends With Us. And yet, that's exactly what Blake tried. She told the court those messages were irrelevant. Irrelevant. You literally said Taylor was shoulder to shoulder with you through the entire ordeal. So either those texts are critical or you lied in your filing. You can't have it both ways. This isn't Gossip Girl. You don't get multiple takes and lighting edits. Enter Wayfair, Justin Baldoni's legal team. They brought receipts, emails, call logs, timeline inconsistencies. They showed that Blake conveniently amended her disclosures after public scrutiny intensified. Then, in a stunt straight from the Desperation Olympics, her team canceled a scheduled discovery call and immediately filed for that protective order. Textbook panic, zero strategy. And Judge Lyman, he wasn't having it. One glance at Blake's tactics and he basically said, "Do you take me for a fool?" But it gets better, or worse, depending on how much popcorn you're holding. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, filed a jaw-dropping 78-page document outlining everything Blake has refused to turn over. At the center of it all, the infamous text messages between her and Taylor Swift. You know, the ones Blake swore would never see daylight. Her excuse? They've already seen them, except they haven't. Taylor's reps say nothing was handed over. Baldoni's team says nothing was handed over. So unless Blake's sending her texts through osmosis, that argument is garbage. It's not a legal defense, it's gaslighting with confetti. The contradiction is especially rich when you remember how Blake once gushed about Taylor's emotional support during the chaotic filming, but now she wants us to believe those texts contain nothing of value. Come on, if the texts were just about brunch plans or astrology memes, they'd be on the record already. The way Blake is guarding them tells us they're a nuclear liability. Billboard even stepped into the fray, reminding everyone that emotional distress claims require proof. You don't get to sob on camera and call it a legal case. If those texts show her joking or exaggerating the smear, it's game over. And it's not just the Taylor texts. Let's talk about the 133 names she's trying to suppress. That's not a witness list, that's a Hollywood guest list. Her team doesn't want anyone to see those communications because behind every PR move Blake's made stands an army of puppets. And Blake, it turns out, is holding the strings. Included on that list, Bradley Cooper. Why? Nobody knows, but if his name's on Blake's legal blacklist, there's smoke. Then come TMZ journalists, because let's be honest, they don't just write stories, they write narratives. Was Blake feeding them headlines while crying smear in court? And then there's Jenny Slate. No one knows why Blake was burning up the line to her, but it's safe to say we'll find out once those texts drop. Then there's Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool director and Hollywood confidant. His name is on the list too. Suddenly this isn't just a lawsuit, it's a full-blown conspiracy thriller. Except the only thing missing is plausible deniability. At this point, it's not about privacy, it's about panic. Blake's PR machine isn't doing damage control. It's running a media war. And Baldoni? He was the designated casualty. But wait, we haven't even gotten to the wildest part yet. Dr. Leslie Dobson. Who is she? A self-proclaimed forensic psychologist with a PhD in unverified Instagram rumors. This woman has been moonlighting as a digital Nancy Drew, posting wild theories, fake HR complaints, and unverified insider leaks. Her fanfiction level allegations accused Baldoni of everything from misconduct to workplace terror. Here's the problem, none of it was real. Those HR complaints, fabricated, distributed online by Dobson herself, and somehow, magically, those fake accusations matched Blake's legal narrative perfectly. Same tone, same timelines, same characters. You don't need a PhD to connect the dots. Now the court is asking, was Blake's team working with Dobson to fabricate a smear campaign? If that answer is yes, even partially, it's not just bad optics. It's evidence tampering, it's conspiracy, it's potential perjury, and Judge Lyman is circling like a shark in Armani robes. On June 18th, the ruling dropped. Wayfair's motion to compel was granted in part. The part that mattered? Brutal. Blake has to hand over all communications with the very reporters and influencers she accused of orchestrating a smear. It's the ultimate irony. She claims she was being targeted. Now the court wants to know if she was the one pulling the trigger. And as for her smear campaign theory, the judge shredded it. Emotional distress without evidence doesn't fly in federal court. Opinions aren't defamation. Free speech isn't defamation. Hurt feelings, no matter how fabulous the wardrobe, don't make a case. Also, Ryan Reynolds has officially been dismissed from the case. All claims against him, gone. That means Blake can't use him as a human shield anymore. Her dream of a celebrity power couple defense just collapsed. She's standing solo now, and it shows. She tried everything, blaming anonymous insiders for leaked quotes, blaming the press, even blaming Discovery itself. Judge Lyman shut that down fast. If you don't want it in court, stop putting it in the press. Mic drop. At this point, Blake's legal defense isn't even a strategy. It's a blooper reel. She tried dragging in Taylor. That backfired. Tried hiding messages. That failed. Tried framing Baldoni with fake HR complaints. That blew up. Now the only person left to blame is Blake herself. And while all this unfolded, she quietly dropped her emotional distress claims. No grand announcement. Just slipped them into the legal ether and hoped no one noticed. Blake's smear campaign claim is now held together with dental floss. Her emotional distress claims are dead. Her narrative is tangled in contradictions. And every time she tries to clean it up, she makes it worse. Now, with June 23rd looming and a deposition that could blow the entire case wide open, Blake is out of magic. There's no script, no reshoots, and definitely no filter. Only facts, only questions, and the threat of perjury hanging over every word, because in court, truth matters more than image. And Blake Lively is about to learn that no amount of celebrity clout can hide what's written in black and white. The only thing left now is the fallout.